Hey, welcome to Creatures of the Realm. My name is Henry Knight, the host of Creatures of the Realm. This is episode 47. Yay, 47 episode. That's awesome. Before we begin, I want to thank my subscribers. I want to thank everyone that watches our channel, my channel. And I just love you all. And it's wonderful to see you here tonight. We have a big show tomorrow. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central, you could watch us here on YouTube. You could watch us at kick.com. You could watch us at Twitch, Facebook. We're all over, Rumble. We're all over the place. So just tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central and watch, just for all of you, a breakaway from the main campaign. It's a 3-part story arc called End of the Line. This is End of the Line Returns, part 1 of 3. So tomorrow is part 2. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central for a great game. Hopefully you'll be there, because me and the guys will be there. Not all the players. Some of the players will be there. And that's because End of the Line is a certain amount, certain groups, certain characters and classes that play the game in this story arc. So I'll see you there tomorrow. But without further ado, everyone, let's start with episode 47 of Creatures of the Realm. Let me check my levels. Here we go. The Grimlock. The Grimlock. The degenerate subterranean Grimlocks were once human, but their worship of the Mind Flayers over generations of the prowling the Underdark transformed them into blind, monstrous cannibals long ago. The based cultists, the empire of the Mind Flayers once spread across many worlds, enslaving countless races. Among those were human cultures whose high priests and Mind Flayers subverted using their insidious powers of thought and control. Those leaders gradually turned the face of their followers towards the Iliads. Hopefully I said that right, which they worshipped as blasphemous deities. Over time, the rituals of these enslaved humans created cannibal cults that regarded the brain eating of the Mind Flayers as holy sacrament. The Iliads, something like that, commanded their worshippers to abduct their sentient creatures to be sacrificed. After the victims' brains had been consumed, the Mind Flayers gave the lifeless bodies to the cultists. Now, what is so good about the Grimlock? Let's check it out. The Grimlock is a medium humanoid creature. It's neutral evil. This is, again, a very low-level creature. I'm going to have my coffee here, folks. Yes, coffee. A medium humanoid Grimlock. It's neutral evil, armor class of 11, hit points 11, speed about 30. The highest ability, and I say this all the time, I'm going to say it again. For those of you who don't know D&D or just chiming in, Dungeons and Dragons have ability scores, and it ranges from very low to very high. If you have a high number, you're good. If you have a low number, it's kind of crappy. All right, so strength 16, dexterity 12, constitution 12, intelligence 9, wisdom 8, and then charisma 6. The skills: athletics +5, perception +3, stealth +3. Not bad for the skills. Okay, so let's take a look here. Senses: blind sight 30 feet or 10 feet while deafened, blind beyond its radius. Passive perception 13. Undercommon, that's the languages. Those are the languages in the Underdark, in the dark areas that are pretty much evil incarnate and so forth. Depends on how you want to play it. Blind senses: the Grimlock can't use its blind sight while deafened and unable to smell. Keen hearing and smell: the Grimlock has advantage on wisdom perception checks. That's cool. Stone camouflage. The Grimlock has advantage on dexterity, stealth checks made to hide in rocky terrain. Now, for those of you who use the Grimlock, or going to use the Grimlock, just look at the creature itself. It looks like an orc almost. It's kind of bald, elongated ears like elves that come out, pointy ears, long black hair, and it could be brown hair, it doesn't matter. Elongated jaw, sunken chest, a very big belly, long arms, and he holds his bone with a bunch of teeth on it, or whatever. It doesn't have to be a bone, it can be anything. Well, according here, he has a spiked bone club, so I guess it has to be there. Anyway, it's a very deformed human, and it's pretty big, about, I'd say 6 feet tall, somewhere around there. Let me see, does it give a description on the height? Well, it looks pretty tall. So, okay, so what makes this creature feasible? Let's see what it has good-wise. The good, it's medium humanoid. There you go. There's my answer. He's medium. So medium would be, 5'6", 5'7", somewhere around there. So that's pretty good. He's fierce looking. He has sharp, pointy teeth. Let's see. His strength is good. His speed, it's not much, 30 feet. It's just normal. His skills, athletics, perception, and stealth are highest is athletics because, of course, stat-wise, your strength and dex are pretty high. So strength is a +3, so of course his athletics is going to be a +5. Perception and stealth are +3. And that's fantastic. So condition immunity's blinded. That's pretty good. Attack rolls against you have advantage, and your attack rolls have disadvantage. Can't see. So that's not good. Oops. It's a reverse effect. So those are the things you have to look at. Challenge rate of a 4th, 50 experience points. It's a very low level creature. All right, so what does this creature have that's really good? Strength and dex are great stats. It can camouflage itself behind rocks. Cool. Spiked bone club. That's very cool. What else? Languages, not very intelligent. It's stupid, but it's okay. All right, so the good thing is, keen hearing and smell, perception checks are really good. It can hide behind rocks, rocky terrain. So that's very good. Stealth is very good. So you're looking at surprise attacks. The good, the bad. All right, I just glanced at this and I said, oh, what is bad about this creature? All right, so the bad thing about this creature is armor class and hit points. They're both 11. That's pretty pathetic. But again, you're going up against low level players, level 1. This creature can be threatening. So remember, 11 hit points is a lot for a level 1 character, especially if you got 3 or 4 players. But, and I've said this before, if you have a well-balanced group, you're good, you're fine. Just remember that. What else here? We have bad armor class and hit points. Ugly. what makes this character complete crap. All right, so what makes this character complete crap is this. So you have your armor class and hit points. And then, which is horrible, despite all of that, his hit ratio is, to attack is a +5. Yeah, for a low level character, that's cool. But 5 feet of reach, 1d4 +3. So if he does hit you, it's a low level hit. 1d4 +3, that's 7 points. And of course, bludgeoning damage gives you another 2 plus 1d4 piercing because it's a spiked bone club. So you get the best of both worlds. When he hits you with the club, you get the spikes nailing you as well. And of course, the club. So the creature's worst aspect is, and you're looking at armor class, hit points, horrible, speed, 30 feet. I think if you could surround him or kind of range attacks would help. But his best power, per se, would be, hey, I'm going to sneak behind somebody, or sneak attack, or try to, not even sneak attack, just sneaking behind somebody would be awesome. He's blind. He's blind, of course. All attacks are advantage. So that's not cool. With 11 hit points, you could nail him. That's the ugliest part right there. Not only is the armor class shitty, the attacks are okay, but the worst thing here is he's blind. What makes him a blind creature? Okay, you're blind. I get that. And I don't hold that against him. He's blind. But you know what? If you're fighting this creature and he's blind, what else? Let's see. If you have blind sight, he's got this. You can see within a specific range. Without relying on physical sight. Within that range, you can see anything that isn't behind total cover. Even if you have the blinded condition. Or you're in darkness. Moreover, in that range, you can see something that has the invisible condition. So that's great. But it's only 30 feet. 30 by 10. So it's 30 feet and then 10 feet wide. So, and then you're deafened. You can't hear and automatically fail any ability check. So all those abilities you had, those checks are done. So this is a shitty character. Do you want to use the Grimlock? They look cool, but they're shitty characters. But to give the Grimlock credit, you can use the Grimlock in a very unique way. If you have a horror campaign, if you're playing a Ravenloft setting, the Grimlock is perfect. And the he's blind, deaf, yeah, but he's got this ability where you can see someone who's almost invisible or using invisibility. That's kind of cool. So if you like that type of stuff, use them. Throw in a couple vampires, zombies, and Grimlocks. Have a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them. Make your party, give your party a little bit of a run for their money. But the Grimlock, if I were to rate him, the shittiest thing this Grimlock has is armor class. Armor class 11 and 11 hit points. Wow. And he's blind. But he's got blind sight. Take the good for the bad. So I give the Grimlock, I'd say probably a C+. I'm not going to give him too much of a shitty score. So that's this creature. And the last letter of G in the 2014 Monster Manual, guys, the Grimlock. And I'm telling you, the Grimlock, I'm not giving it a high rating. C-ish, you know, that's not bad. It really isn't. But again, you can use it in your Ravenloft setting, a horror setting, whatever you want. Grimlock is perfect. Now, would I use it? Sure. I mean, whatever. But that would not be my first choice. Okay, but he is a very cool looking creature. You know, humanoid, medium humanoid creature, elongated mouth, elven-like ears, you know, bald, but hair at his side, kind of long, black or brown, depending on how you want to describe him. You know, sunken chest, you know, very big belly, and he's got a spiked bone club. You know, a loincloth or some form of cloth covering his lower parts, and he is very cool looking, very beady eyes, if that. He is blind, so you could have him burned out, however you want to describe him in your story, which is great. The Grimlock also has, let me see here. Grimlock has one other thing that I don't really like. They have a thing with Mind Flayers. So if you want to make your story devious, throw in the Mind Flayers and Grimlock and so forth. Just remember, they're connected to the Mind Flayers, so that's something you have to look into if you want to. I mean, you gotta remember, when you're running your game, it is you. You're running the game, you're the DM, your table, and if you're using this type of creature, just remember the backstory for the creature and kind of use them accordingly. If you want the creature to be in a horror setting, to me, that's a perfect setting. Bring him in. So he would work perfectly in that type of element. Now, if you have him, well, you're in an Underdark in a cave, yeah, you can do that too. It all depends on how you want to do it as DM. I'm a big advocator of, you know what, you're the DM, you run the game, and however it works for you and your table. Not everything is going to work 100%, just remember that. But what it does, man, it's fantastic. All right, so I was running a little late today, and I apologize. I was having a little bit of a technical issue when I jumped in, but here we go. Grimlock still venerate the Mind Flayers, serving them whenever possible. Grimlocks also recall the war in which they were driven underground. To them, it has never ended. They continue to return to the surface world to abduct captives for the Iliad masters. Now, that's something that you have to think about. So, they are from the Underdark. They come out and they grab people. Again, a horror setting. I gave it a C. Look, all right. My final rating, because as I'm thinking, this creature should have a little bit more. Even though he's blind, and he has this ability where you can see, blind sight. Okay, he has that. And he's stealthy. He could hide behind rocks. You know, he could do a jump scare on somebody. I mean, he's ugly. So he has very cool qualities. So, all right. I'll give it a C+. C+, that's it. I'm not going to do it anymore. C+ is what the Grimlock is going to get. Because I just read, you know, he grabs people from the Underdark. I think that's kind of cool. You know, so you have a creature in the Underdark, or you're in the forest with your party and you're trekking along, and all of a sudden you see this creature in the forest running after you. Brrr. You trip, you fall, you know, you break a couple branches, leaves, you know, rustling leaves, and this thing grabs you by the leg, pulls you in, and then he starts dragging you. You make a strength check, whatever, athletics, you try to get out. No, he drags you. He drags you in the cave. And when he drags you in the cave, he takes you to the Underdark, lower catacombs, just the lower area of the cave. And you know what's funny about that? It's not funny because you're going in the Underdark. That's not good. The bad thing is, while you're in the Underdark, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if there's going to be a dozen more Grimlocks. So now you're dealing with one, and as he drags you to his homestead or area, you're going to see a whole bunch of other Grimlocks and a bunch of other creatures. Nasty spiders, drows, whatever. You're going to see a whole bunch of things in the Underdark. So this creature, I give it a C+. That is my final rating for the Grimlock. Now, a horror setting, to me, is the best setting for the creature. Or, how about this? How about you have a cabin, right? Or a building, or even a town, right? And in the town, people in the middle of the night, while they're sleeping, are dragged across to the forest. That's cool, huh? What about that setting? So you have your party coming in trying to investigate the situation at hand. And the thing is, there is a Grimlock horde, and they're grabbing people. Maybe a ritual, maybe they're controlled. You throw in the Mind Flayers, throw it in there, because they're connected to them. So there is a lot going on here. Again, horror setting, mystery, that type of thing. Man, you make me feel bad. Now I gave it a C+. I'm not going to give it a B. All right, a C+ is fine. That's it. But no, that's a great idea, isn't it? I mean, you have the Grimlock taking people in the town. That's kind of cool. Dragging them, or her just out of bed, screaming. But then it's, again, not very intelligent, but then it's smart enough to put its hand over your mouth or put something in your mouth, whatever. Maybe that's too intelligent. Maybe, again, Mind Flayers, control, all that type of thing. Those are the things you have to really look at while you're playing or running a game. Is this creature a certain creature? Will it fit your party? Will it fit your story arc? Even better, take a list of story arcs or ideas, put them down, roll dice, do a random thing. That's kind of fun. My buddy Jeremy at my work, he runs games too, and he likes to do a bunch of random rolls. And I never used to do random, but now I just do random rolls on different creatures that they fight and so forth. And it's a lot of fun. It takes a lot of ease from the DM, but also it's fun. It makes it fun for me, and it makes it fun for the party. Those are the things you have to really, really look at when you're running a game. And if you're picking this creature, the Grimlock, I'm going over one creature tonight. Normally I do one, but sometimes I do two, maybe a little bit more. But tonight we're going over one. What I want to do is get a little bit personal with the creature, meaning I want you guys to know more about not only the history and the background of the creature, but what is the creature about? Is it good for your campaign? Those are the things we want to talk about. Is it great for your setting as a DM? And will the players like it? Well, you know what? The players, a creature's a creature, right? And when you are playing a game, your hero, your whatever setting you're in, the creatures come and go. That is where you say, hey, look, I'm just going to roll with it. That's what you do. You role play, you have a great time, and if you're coming up against Grimlocks, you go to the town, people are taken and dragged out to the forest. You see this Grimlock grabbing this gentleman who was sleeping in the tavern. He's half awake trying to fight. You want to save him? Take him out. Take out the Grimlock. But know that normally a creature like this, and especially with, I want to make sure all my settings are good. Excuse me. So, really good. So when you're dealing with this type of creature, you know that, and the party deals with this creature, they're like, oh, don't go to the DM's guide or go to the monster manual, flip it, or if you're on your phone, oh, I'm going to go on Beyond and check out some things. No, just role play it, roll the dice and run with it, whatever creature it is. And if you are the one that, oh wait, I know that type of creature, it has an armor class of 11 on average, hit points 11, 30 feet. I know how to deal with this creature. You're using player knowledge, and when you do that, you're kind of ruining the game itself, because you don't want to do that. You want to be surprised. And if the DM uses these legacy creatures or these awesome creatures that come out in the game, you want to have fun, whether it's a bugbear or whatever it is, a dragon, red, black. We all know the different color dragons, platinum, whatever. We know everything. We've played D&D enough to understand. Oh well, the dragon does this, the creature does that. But know this: when you role play your character, that mindset is gone because you're in combat, and you're there to fight. You're not there to analyze what the creature does and how he does it. Why is that creature dragging it? That creature, well, it's connected to the Mind Flayer. Well, no, you don't know that. You don't. Those are the things that as a DM that aggravate me. And it's not a little bit of an aggravation, because it happens. It happens as a DM. All DMs get a little perturbed. Is when folks are like, oh yeah, I know that creature, it's a bugbear. I'm gonna hit it over here or do that. And when their expectations of what they're getting in combat, and they're like, oh, bugbear is not a big deal, or a panther, or a wolf, or a hawk. It's not a big deal. That's why I like homebrew. When you create a creature and you put that homebrew creature in the mix of the random, you roll, and they land on that creature, they're not going to know what it is. And they're like, oh man, what is it? Surprise your party. Surprise your party as much as possible. Try to make it fun for everybody. We all know we've played this game many times. We know the creatures. We know the creatures that are thrown at us as players and as DMs, so we understand things. But understand this: don't ruin the fun for you. Don't ruin the fun for me. Have fun playing the game, and don't be don't be there saying, oh well, the dragon has a recharge. He rolls a 6-sided and a 5 or a 6. He gets to use dragon's breath or fire breath or whatever dragon you're playing. Or if you're playing a bugbear, oh, he's not really that strong. How can he be that or that strong? Or an owlbear. I mean, those are the legacy. Those are awesome creatures. But when you're in the game, you're not there to analyze those creatures. You're there to, let's defeat them together as a group. And if you have a sorcerer, if you have a wizard, if you have a fighter, a bard, a barbarian, an artificer, whatever you're playing, either 2014 or 2024, know this: you're there as a party, and together you want to defeat the creature, and not use player knowledge to defeat the creature because you went through the DM's guide, or I'm sorry, you went through the monster manual. I keep saying DM guide. You went through the monster manual, and all of a sudden you're going to say, oh, I know how to defeat that creature. Well, that's not fun. So now the DM has to tweak things just to make things interesting. I do, because I like making things interesting. If one of my players uses player knowledge, I like to tweak it. Sometimes you don't want to do that on the fly, but sometimes you're going to have to, because you're like, oh, that creature only has 25 hit points. Why does he have 40? Why does he have 40? Ask yourself this. Don't worry about it and play the game. If you're playing a fighter and you're up against a dragon, and you know the average hit points for a dragon, and you guys are all doing damage, and you're going beyond that hit point base. Oh, this guy's kind of beefy, isn't he? Well, yeah. Just look at your intelligence of your character class, of your character. Look at your wisdom. Look at those numbers. Can you assess the situation? If you're gonna do, if you're gonna try to assess a situation, stand back from combat and try to assess it. But your party is not gonna like that. They're gonna be like, "Hey, what is he doing?" I don't know. Those are the things you have to think about as a DM and as a player too. You want to be respectful. You want to be nice to your players and so forth. But everything goes forward and back. So the players, they want to imagine themselves in a setting, in a fantasy setting, and the DM creates the world. So if a bugbear comes out, you're a fighter. Just roll with the punch. Roll the dice, do the damage, and have fun. That's it. And if he's a little beefier or not, then they are. And those are the things that kind of, as a player and as a DM, both, you kind of, best of both worlds. You have to understand where the DM comes from. You have to understand where the player comes from. So you really want to make sure that things are running good on both sides. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed Creatures of the Realm, episode 47. We got 3 more episodes before season 1 of Creatures of the Realm is done. So just to let you all know, when that happens, we're going to stick with DM talk for a while and then come back to Creatures of the Realm for season 2. But season 1 of Creatures of the Realm, 3 more episodes. We're done with the Grimlock. Grimlock gave it a C+. Hey, cool creature, huh? Well, just remember, before I let you guys go, the setting is very important. How you use a creature and where. Like I said, setting. So those are the things you want to think about when you're a DM. Ravenloft, Grimlock, they go together. At least I think so. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central. But tonight, 11:45, stay with me. Don't leave. DM talk, got a big topic to talk about. So join us, join me, and I'll see you in about 11:45. Take care.